This is Rock and Roll English. Real people, real English. Here's your host, Martin Johnston.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Rock and Roll English. Episode number 259, baby. Oh yeah. In today's episode I have something very special for you. In fact, I think this is the most special episode of Rock and Roll English ever. But before I tell you about it, let me tell you a few stories, okay? Here's the first. Many months ago, during a chit-chat with the Rock and Roll English family, the community behind the podcast, a girl from Poland told us a hilarious story that involved dogs, naked people, and poos. Now, I won't spoil the story for you because you will have the opportunity to listen to it if you listen to all of this podcast. So I thought to myself, I would love to share that story with everyone because it is absolutely brilliant, and I bet everyone has some of these great stories to share. So 25 members of the group shared their RnR stories with me, and you know I love stories. Now, I didn't know why I love stories, but I have always, even when I was at school, Corporal Coma, Boom Boom, they always used to say, oh, there's Martin telling another story. I mean, admittedly, I think they were quite bored with most of the stories, but still, I loved stories even then when we were at school. But yes, now I've done some kind of research into it, and now I think I know why I love stories. I think I love them because especially real life stories, okay? That's what I love the most. I love them because they unite people and create community by reminding us that our lives are more similar than they are different, no matter where you come from. Now, obviously, I didn't say that. I found that on the internet, but I think it explains why I love stories very well because, you know, we all feel embarrassed, we all feel scared, we all feel vulnerable, we all feel angry, we all laugh, we all love. We are all the same people. We were just born in different places. So all of these 25 stories reflect the emotions that I just mentioned. The stories are true, funny, shocking, disturbing, disgusting, inspiring, and many more things. But as they are R&R stories, they are not boring. So yes, together with the R&R family, we have made an ebook and podcast with these 25 stories. Now, we had planned to sell this ebook and podcast and raise money for charity. So, the last few months we have been working a lot on this project. Then something happened in the world. The situation in Ukraine. Now, I mentioned on the most recent podcast how this has particularly touched me, and this is because we have R&R family group members from Ukraine. In fact, a member of the family, someone who has also helped me a lot personally for other things in the past, he actually comes from Ukraine and he has had to send his wife and daughter to a different country to keep safe. So our original plan was to sell this ebook and podcast, then give all the money to our friend and family member. But luckily, his family are now safe. However, we know that there are many, many, many other families like his that are not so lucky and need help. So we have decided to give the money to Ukrainian refugees. And we obviously want to raise as much money as possible. So we have made what I think is the greatest ebook and podcast ever. It is full of R&R stories, the classic type of stories you hear on the podcast. I've corrected all of the stories and added R&R vocab and grammar to each of them, much like a normal podcast episode. And it is absolutely brilliant. But don't take my word for it, okay? Because right now, I am going to let you listen to the first story of the book for free. You can also read it for free on the website if you prefer reading, but the fact you're listening to a podcast makes me think you probably like the podcast, the audio version more. So anyway, I'm going to stop talking, well, kind of, because I also read the story, but I'm stopping talking now. Here is the first story of the ebook. Happy listening. The Dark Side of the Park. Last Friday, I woke up at 7 a.m. as usual. I staggered to the bathroom, looked at myself in the mirror, and to my chagrin realised that 7 a.m. was not my best time of the day. So I had a wash, tried to do what I could with my hair, and went to the kitchen. As I was having a quick cup of coffee, absorbed in my own thoughts, I looked out of the window. What a lovely day for a walk in the park, I said to myself. I could do with some exercise. That would be really nice, and I'm sure I'll feel better afterwards. So I headed upstairs to my bedroom, put on my walking outfit, sweatpants, a hoodie, and running trainers, and off I went. It took me only 5 minutes to get to the park. Though it was a little chilly, lots of people were jogging, walking, or playing with children or dogs. So I started my walk through the park, speeding my pace so as to lose at least 1 or 2 calories. There are some beautiful paths, and some of them are out of the way, making them perfect for homeless people and junkies. So I usually avoid them. But that specific day I was feeling adventurous. It must have been the coffee. So this time I plucked up the courage and ventured to the dark side of the park. And this is where things started to get ugly. After a while, I realised not a soul was to be seen, and I must admit I started feeling a bit scared. Suddenly, I saw a man jogging towards me. Oh my God, I thought to myself, he's going to kill me. I tried to stay calm. He is just exercising like me, I said to myself. As he got closer, my heart started pounding faster and faster. The moment then arrived where he ran past me and he accidentally brushed my shoulder. I almost lost my balance. You bastard, I thought to myself. And he didn't even say sorry. I was infuriated. Then I thought to myself, did he manage to take something from me? Out of instinct, I put my hand in my pocket to check for my wallet. To my amazement, the wallet wasn't in my pocket. He had stolen it. In a fit of rage, I turned and followed the man. As he was running, I had to run too, and I was getting angrier and angrier. You're not going to run off with my wallet, you son of a bitch, I thought. Once I got close enough, I shouted, "Give me the wallet now!" The man turned, looked at me, and with a shaking hand threw the wallet on the floor, then ran home faster than the wind. I stood for a second in shock, then knelt down to pick up the wallet. Suffice to say, I was not only breathless, but shaking when I got home. Despite feeling very overwhelmed by the situation, I almost felt proud of myself, as I had never been so brave in all of my life. In an attempt to calm down, I took a long shower and then sat on my bed. I turned my head and saw the wallet on my bedside table. This looks a bit different to mine, I thought to myself. So I opened it to check, and guess what? The ID inside read Timothy Brookfield. What? I couldn't believe my eyes. Surely this wasn't happening. After retracing my steps, I realised I had never even taken my wallet to the park. It was in the drawer at home, as usual. So he didn't steal my wallet. I stole his. I said to myself, oh my God, I mugged the poor man. Now the feeling of pride turned into embarrassment. I was now a criminal, and for a split second I thought I was going to pass out. What should I do? Turn myself in? No way! As soon as I had pulled myself together, I went to the nearby post office to hand the wallet in. The lady at the counter asked me, "What can I do for you, dear?" Dear, I thought to myself. She obviously doesn't know that I'm a criminal. "Here's a wallet I found on the street," I said. "Oh, that's so nice of you to hand it in," the woman replied. If only she knew. I left as fast as I could, but now the feeling of embarrassment slowly turned into mischief. I know I shouldn't have, but I couldn't help feeling alive and naughty. Now, I wouldn't recommend copying me, and I know the poor jogger got a jolly good fright, but let's look at the positives. Nobody got hurt, I avoided prison, and now I'm no longer scared to go to the dark side of the park as I feel braver than ever. So I hope you enjoyed the story. Obviously in the official version I do the RnR vocab at the end and explain terms you just heard, like "to my chagrin." I could do with some exercise, to hand something in, to turn yourself in, and many more of the terms that you just heard, as I do with all of the stories in the book. Now, I have literally spent hours and hours and hours and hours working on this. I would say more than 100 hours, just me personally, plus all the hours of the people in the RnR family. So all of this work, and we are selling this ebook and podcast together for the enormous price of €10. Okay, we will sell this ebook and podcast for 3 weeks. Then on Tuesday the 5th of April, we will send all the money collected to help these Ukrainian families. Now, our target is to raise €5,000. Okay, that's 500 books. I think we can do this. So please tell all your friends and family about it. You can click and buy the book right now. Take your phone, stop this episode and look at the comments to this episode and you will find the link to buy it, okay? Or you can go to rockandrollenglish.com/stories and find all the information there, buy the book and the podcast, which you can listen to on your phone. It has the transcripts. It's just bloody brilliant. Remember, it's for a good cause and you will improve your English. So you will feel like a wonderful human being for buying this book and podcast. Remember, it's 2 things. It's not just the book, it's the book and podcast. So take action right now and help some people that unfortunately are living, words can't really describe it, can they? But a terrible, terrible experience. So remember, the link to buy the book is in the comments to this podcast episode, or go to rockandrollenglish.com/stories. Any questions, let me know. Thanks a lot for listening. I will talk to you very soon, but in the meantime, just keep on rocking, baby.
Thanks so much for listening to Rock and Roll English. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit rockandrollenglish.com and facebook.com/rockandrollenglish. We'll catch you next time.